Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Table-ronde sur l'entrepreneuriat asiatique. I'm here with various business owners from the Montreal area, all Asian business owners, and we're going to be really getting into a conversation today surrounding the topic of overcoming your limits. So I'm actually going to ask my panelists to introduce themselves again. Please start, Melissa.
Hi everyone, my name is Melissa. I am co-founder of Black Daisy's Jewelry. I sculpt and I make handmade jewelry in sterling silver and bronze.
Hello everyone, my name is Hamdi and I'm the founder of Tea Guru, a tea company that exists over 20 years now, specializing in high-end tea that we import or produce from all over the world, and also co-founder of Oishi Bar, and lastly Tea Institute, where we teach tea at an international level.
Hi, I'm Raj Jabrar. I'm one of the co-founders of Golden Triangle Coffee. We specialize in Southeast Asian coffee. It's the first time it's been done in Eastern Canada, and we're very happy to promote Asian culture through every bean that we bring in.
Hi, my name is Mahilu Yoshimura Gagnon. I'm the owner of Kyoto Flower. So we are a flower shop located on the Plateau Montréal. We sell flowers, plants, and we do weddings, all kinds of events, and a workshop as well, promoting the Japanese culture.
Good afternoon, take two. Michelle from Bopac, I'm the founder. We are in the sustainable packaging business, trying to convince restaurants to replace single-use takeout containers with reusable boxes in order to reduce the waste that's in our landfills.
Amazing. Well, so awesome to be joined by all of these fascinating. Everybody is so different here. I would love to add that, like, we have so much of a range of businesses here. But one thing that we do all have in common is that we're all Asian, right? So we all are, pushing forward these businesses with our culture. So I kind of just want to jump right into it and go right into our first question, especially since this panel is running late. But that's neither here nor there. But I would like to first just get into, already, Marie-Lou, you were saying how Kyoto Fleur is about pushing Japanese culture. Raj, you were also saying how, your whole thing is about Southeast Asian coffee. So what role does your cultural heritage play in your business?
Culturally, I'm of South Asian descent, so I'm Indian. We have a partner of mine that's from Hong Kong and another one from Vietnam. So we're using all of our cultural backgrounds together to be able to showcase that there's unity between all Asian countries in the form of something we all enjoy. I think the second most consumed thing after water and maybe tea might be coffee. So it's fun to relate with everybody on something that has common grounds. So culturally, I find that we meld and mesh very well together on one topic. So,
Han, I'm curious, do you find that when you're practicing your business and you're pushing forward your business of tea, do you find that you often have a lot of common ground with other Asian communities that come and participate in your business?
Well, we do like to partner up with diverse nationality, Asian nationality, to do all kind of projects together, because we do not limit ourselves to, how to say, I'm Vietnamese descent, right? And I don't just limit myself to Vietnamese culture. I see myself more like as Asian as a whole, so I really like to work with everybody and to share the culture, the knowledge, because deep down I study about tea from all Asian nationality in order to preserve it, but also because of my passion. I'm just curious by nature. So yes, collaborating makes sense, and promoting each other is the way to go.
Mahiru, I wanted you to still add kind of the way that you carry your cultural heritage. I mean, tea and coffee, food is very easy for us to carry our cultural heritage in, but when it comes to flowers, what would you say, how would you say that your culture shows itself as you are, pushing forward this business, Kyoto Flower?
Well, flower is very important in the Japanese culture. I was talking about the workshop that we have at the store as well. So we do Ikebana workshop. But it's not only flowers because we sell a lot of accessories, also Japanese accessories. So many of the merchants here, I sell their product at my store. My mother is from Kyoto. She's here. Hi, Mom. Hi. So my mother and my grandmother are from Kyoto, so that's why I really wanted to promote my culture and to sell Japanese product and to organize workshop to just pour faire la promotion du Japon.
Yeah, kind of carrying that culture not only through your business, but pushing it forward and involving other people into it, which seems to be kind of something all of you guys are doing. Again, I just want to let everybody know this is part of the Asiasie panel. We are here with various businesses from Montreal's Asian community. So I have been told that we are being broadcasted outside this room as well right now. So if you hear me right now, please come down to the bar, the 18+ bar in the TimeOut Market, where we are kind of breaking down the different stories and various backgrounds that all these Asian businesses come from that are making up part of this very fascinating and lovely market that we have put on today. Kind of going forward, there's one thing carrying your business, carrying your culture with your business, but at the end of the day, business is business, right? Especially here in Montreal, rising cost of living, inflation, things have been tough. I'm curious to kind of get into just the ways that you guys have had to adapt your business model. Michelle, I want to start with you. You have kind of taken on a different approach with your business where you are really trying to change the game in general for a lot of eateries with your business of creating sustainable containers that people can reuse. Tell me a bit about just what you had to consider with our current economic state as you're pushing forward this practice that, some people may try to push off as they may kind of, cry out the high cost of living and that we can't afford these type of containers. How have you had to navigate this new reality that we're living in the past 2 years?
So what's interesting about reusable takeout packaging is how, unlike everybody promoting Asian culture, I'm almost going against the cultural tendencies. Show of hands, has anybody gone to Hong Kong before? Thank you for those hands. So if you've been to Hong Kong, you'll know that when it comes to food service, it is a high pressure, high speed, high stakes, razor thin margin kind of game. So that means that when you sell food, you want to make sure that as many people get it as possible in as little time as possible and that they're in and out as quickly as possible. And that makes anything that involves bringing a container back somewhere, returning something, very difficult to implement. So three key learnings. People are lazy, single-use packaging is cheap, and nothing is built for people to borrow takeout containers and find places to return them. So those are the three key issues where we have to make sure that our products are so good that restaurants are like, I want to show off my food in them. 2, they have to be so inexpensive because instead of making something over and over again with single use, we have reusable boxes that can be made well, but you can reuse 1,000 times, then it makes it more economically feasible. And lastly, we take care of all the pickups, washing, so we're trying to make it as convenient as possible to battle single use.
I'm curious to know how the other panelists feel when it comes to, sustainability and how that is something that, is a bit of a cultural tendency to not really go in. It's a global shift that people are walking towards, even though some parts of our culture are very sustainable. I'm curious to know if anybody else has implemented that in their business and, what has the reaction been from the Asian community that you guys serve to that push for sustainable practices?
I guess I could somehow address to that subject as an artist and also handmade jewelry. I guess facing that subject, there's a difference between handmade jewelry and slow fashion, that movement, and also fast-made jewelry, which is like industry and just quickly assembled, no thought into it, no conscious, no intention. What we do at Black Daisies, which we're only 2 people working behind that brand, is that before making a design, we always test our jewelry if it's durable, if you could live your life, like your daily life, you could take a shower with it, or if you could just like grab something so mundane like a glass. It's a big industry jewelry because it's like so mass produced, everything's fast. The metal is most of the time toxic. We use sterling silver, and we also try to keep it local by doing business with local suppliers. And also there's a soul missing behind those fast-made jewelry. So that's why each piece that we do, there's a story to tell. And that's why I feel like Black Daisies jewelry is fitting in this market, because most of our stories are personal, and as an Asian person, I like to talk about my family's history behind some of the pieces. And I don't know, I just feel like it gives like more meaning into the product, the consummation of people, from plastic wares like Michelle's, or like jewelry to clothing. I think we just want to promote quality to what we do instead of something so fast. So it's just like cutting what people are so used to having so fast, but just take a moment to appreciate beauty and well done products. So yeah.
Okay, so this next question I have is, I feel something everybody can answer, so this is free game. But what are some of the barriers that you face here in Quebec as an Asian business?
I'll jump on that one first. Are we talking about Quebec or Canada?
Either.
All right, so being an Anglophone might be the hardest thing for me. French speaking, having everything labeled in French. I'm going to touch some touchy subjects because we're selling Asian products, but we still have to maintain our respect to the French and English of our province, and we have to be able to explain these products in both languages. So I'm just going to touch upon the language part. Everybody else could talk about their own stuff, but I think it's kind of nice to have, I'm going to say the good stuff. It's kind of nice to have something in French when you're an Anglophone that always had difficulty speaking French, to learn more about the French culture in Quebec, but also adapt it to the Asian cultures that we have in Montreal. It's so cool to see how, as a Quebecer, we can mix English, French, and Asians into one brand that has blown up for me quite substantially every year. The barrier for us has changed from worrying about importation and products and this that, because you know what, we're all human. French, English, Asian, whatever, we all enjoy coffee and other products. We just have to be able to explain it. And I had a lot of questions yesterday just about what makes Asian coffee different than regular coffee, and I said nothing. It is just coffee, just brought in from another part of the world, and very good coffee. So I think more so from my end, it would be more about the language barriers. Also, we had a Spanish client. Our products are not in Spanish, and I still sold the coffee to them because everybody loves coffee. So that's just me.
Hello? So, I'm Asian, right? And then people tend to come to me and ask me, yeah, amazing. And they come to me and say, oh, well, do you source your product yourself? Yes, I'm Asian. I travel back to Asia. I bring the stock here. And then they go and say, well, is your product safe? Because, we've heard so many stories that product from Asia is not safe, quality, it's full of pesticide and everything. So how does your product rate? What I sell is high-end product, artisan made, not the mass production type of product that wins awards, stuff like that. But still, sometimes people doubt me, like, are you sure? Well, you don't want to buy from me, it's fine. I sell to other stores, they sell back to you at a higher price, your choice. But being Asian, you are being questioned all the time if your product is safe, because there's that doubt in people's mind. So it's a struggle that a lot of us in the industry, food industry or whatever, have to fight for, and we have to prove that we're more than average by working harder to prove everything is good. That's it.
I just want to add on to that. It's true that a lot of Asian products are viewed as affordable and cheap. So we are not affordable and cheap. We're actually very hard working, and our products should be costing much more because they're harder to get. So that is another thing that I appreciate that you brought up. So.
Yeah, so that also actually makes a lot of sense, because there is this predisposition of of what an Asian product means, and when you get approached by people who have already that prejudgment, that prejudice, then they're going to have a certain expectation. I know you were talking a bit about just in general with your jewelry and how it often tells a story. Do you get any of that type of prejudgment from even within your own community, or within the Asian community, or outside the Asian community, when they do approach your jewelry and they question, the validity or that aspect of heritage?
Actually, that's a very good question. It's not really using it as a leverage, but we do get a lot of fans and clients that actually support us because we're Asian, but also we're like a voice for them, because I tell a story through a piece of jewelry, and I think they appreciate it that I mention it in our pieces through a form of art, and taking a horrible story, because I'm Cambodian and we lived genocide. And through one of my pieces, I speak about it, but I don't dwell on the sadness on it as a new generation. I like to bring the story to light and to turn it into something beautiful, as in my family went through a lot of bad stuff, but I'm here and I want to make a change and I want to live a better life. So for not them to go in vain for what they went through, I want to bring a beauty into the story, to educate people with art, obviously, and beauty and jewelry, because that's what we do. But I think our community actually appreciated that we use this as a channel and voice for it. And they fiercely love us for that, so I feel fully supported. But as for the people that actually live the horror, I guess, they don't really want to speak about it. They actually want to forget about it, and I don't want to remind it, but I just want to tell a story so it doesn't get forgotten. And it's also part of me, it's part of my roots, it's what I represent. And yeah, I just want to bloom into something better and bring a brighter future for all of us. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, and there's two parts to it, where you are getting some support, but also there's some friction there as well, because some people just aren't ready to talk about it. And Matthew, I'm curious about you with your business. Do you find, what kind of support do you find in the community? How does the Asian community in general, add to your achievements or help you get to your goals in your business?
Je vais répondre en français.
Oui, allez-y.
Ça va? Parfait. C'est good. Okay. Okay, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. What does the Asian community do for you, or what role does the Asian community play in your achievements and in the success of your business?
En fait, je suis vraiment chanceuse. En fait, la communauté japonaise est vraiment derrière nous. On est très ensemble, on se connaît. On est une petite communauté à Montréal, alors on se supporte beaucoup entre nous. Comme je disais tout à l'heure aussi, on vend beaucoup des produits des autres compagnies japonaises à Montréal, chez nous. On a le support du consulat japonais aussi. On a toute la communauté en général, je vous dirais, les commandes. Puis je parle des Japonais en fait, mais c'est la communauté asiatique aussi. On fait beaucoup de mariages pour la communauté asiatique en général. qui viennent chez nous là, pour...
Et même si avoir une petite communauté, même si avoir une petite communauté, on se prend au début pour des avantages, mais ça semble que c'est un avantage d'avoir une petite communauté qui est vraiment liée à une autre, il y a une proche relation entre nous autres.
Oui, complètement.
Ouais.
Puis je pense j'ai la chance aussi, je pense que le Japon est tendance un petit peu aussi maintenant, donc c'est sûr que ça aide aussi. Là. Il y a beaucoup de gens qui sont heureux d'avoir une business japonaise sur le plateau, donc ils vont venir pour ça. Ouais, on en voit beaucoup.
C'est comment, and this is kind of a question really for everyone, how, you know, there is like, la culture japonaise c'est vraiment une tendance. You know, a lot of Asian cultures are a tendance. I think Raj and I were talking about this before, but how do you make sure that the attention you're getting is cultural appreciation and not appropriation?
All right, my turn again. I had that question last year, and I loved answering it because being an Indian guy doing coffee for Southeast Asians, and the question gets brought up, but what do you know about our culture? The thing is, I had to learn about your culture to start selling it. So the fact is, we also import, like I think Han as well, we import back from those countries directly, and we try to get back to those farms and those communities, nonprofits or whatever. So we may not be appropriating, we're not appropriating at all, but you need to know the story behind it before you can judge. So appropriation in this is very touchy, because if you go out there and you look at all the businesses, not everybody looks Asian as a visual, but they may have more knowledge and may have more experience and may have more history than you as an Asian and a non-Asian. So it's very much a touchy subject until it becomes not touchy anymore, that we are showing enough effort to support those countries and supporting their population as much as we can. And just like I was telling Mary Lou, that I, as a food blogger, learned that the community of Japanese is about 4,000 people now in Montreal. That's the minority of the minorities. Like, it can't get more difficult for a Japanese person to stick out, but they do it because there's a community. But now, we as non-Japanese want to support those brands because we are all Asian, and then hopefully we progress in our future generations and not have to worry about being Asian or not and appropriating or not. So.
Yeah, I think that cultural appropriation is a big word in the sense that as long as what you do is authentic, like you study in it, you do it well, regardless of your nationality, it should be fine. Because if you represent well, you create business, you create job. What's the problem with that? All international company, all successful company that sells something related to culture has to be open-minded, has to evolve, have to do fusion. If you only stick to the idea of culture and hold it to yourself and close your doors, then you can't expand. And yet you will sell your own culture under the pretext of its culture, but you won't try harder because you say, I'm authentic because I am of that nationality. Then that's where your business will be limited. So being Asian or not doesn't matter as long as you're authentic to what you sell and what you represent. That's the key to success, I believe.
Yeah, okay, so I'm hearing a lot of there seems to be also a sense of solutions in trying to overcome that limitation or that disparity between, because it's a thin line between appreciation and appropriation, and I think there are new things we are learning every day. So I kind of want to hear a bit more about just what you have done to overcome those limitations. Michelle, I want to, go to you for this one. There is a battle. We're constantly battling, especially when it comes to sustainable practices. It's a battle an uphill battle to kind of try and explain these sustainable practices to large capitalistic organizations that may not see the merit how do you overcome that to push forward your vision of sustainability, especially in a extremely growing market, but especially among businesses that have been hit hard by high cost of living and inflation?
That's a very packed question about sustainability, cultural appropriation, and identity. So I'm going to start by saying I have like all the respect in the world. Where's Charles?
Right there.
He's hiding somewhere. Oh, there's Charles.
Couple waters.
Like I love the way how he explained to me at one point where promoting your culture is different from kind of playing the victim, quote unquote. I have to say that I haven't felt held back from being, I've been privileged enough not to feel held back, and this is a conversation I've had with Charles, where just because I haven't felt it doesn't mean that the representation doesn't help others who have felt held back by their cultural identities to move forward more. So that he inspired me to be more involved in Asian events, because it's, yeah, definitely you. Because even if, there's this thing about like, oh, well, you're just playing the victim, you're playing the culture card, you want to check all the boxes to get all the advantages, but at the same time, like, just because I haven't felt held back, there are people who look up to certain positions that aren't well represented by Asians, and they should look there and say, oh wait, I haven't considered those career paths or those positions, but there's somebody there that looks like me, and they're occupying those positions, and it's a possibility. So I had the privilege of being at a round table with Erica Moritsuka, the assistant deputy of the President Biden last month with Winston Chan. And it was a really interesting conversation about how I work hard. I'm good at what I do. But at the back of your head, there's sometimes still something like, am I invited to this panel because I'm Asian? And then when you're not invited to the panel, you're like, oh, is it because I'm Asian? So I think all of us might have some of that at the back of our heads, and until that question kind of doesn't come up anymore, then that just shows that there's still room for us to keep moving in representing those positions to show the possibilities that we belong wherever we want to be.
There's a lot more work to be done. The further we get, we just realize how much further we need to go. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody else want to add to that?
I like that you admitted to the word privilege, right? Because a lot of us Asians don't have the opportunity to say that word. I hate the words diversity hire, diversity inclusion, cool, but let's just move on and get going and stop using those words. And it's cool that you admit it, and it's cool that we admit we didn't have it, and we work together to grow so we can all feel like there isn't a privilege anymore, that we actually, we can't choose where we're born. We're all 1 in a billion. How many tries it took our families to get us here, the chances that we're all here to talk. Now let's have our one life to live and get us together at the next level. That's my little add-on to that. It's really cool that you admit to it, so it's good.
Okay, awesome. I think I have one last question for everyone. We have just such a diverse array of businesses here, successful businesses. What is one piece of advice that has proven invaluable to yourself that you would give to any entrepreneur that's starting up? Maybe they're at a stage where they're struggling, but what is a piece of advice that you think is invaluable? And I'd like everybody to go one by one. We'll start here.
Yeah, you got it.
As a piece of advice, what we do is very different in terms of jewelry making. If you have time to visit our table later, you'll see that it's quite different. When I first started off, I didn't have any business model because what we did was completely different. Our philosophy is completely different. What I would say to anyone that aspires to be an artist and driving into Montreal and just be an entrepreneur is just listen to your passion and your guts, because sometimes there won't be any guides, there won't be any established businesses for you to study or look up to, so just do what you feel is right. Do your research, but just stay true to yourself, because eventually, I mean, believe it or not, maybe you are the first one to do it, and then you open the path to new styles of like jewelry or new styles of paintings. I'm saying jewelry, but it's overall like just art, and it's there's no boundaries. But yeah, I didn't have any business models to follow, and that was like a challenge. But I'm happy that I just followed my instinct, just stay true to my style, and now we have like a nice like community of Black Daisies that appreciate what we do, and we just share the passion. That's an advice that I want to just give to everyone.
Okay, staying true to yourself.
I think that if you want to be an entrepreneur, you gotta make sure that it's because of the passion. You have an idea, you have a goal, a vision, and you're willing to do the hours, willing to do 7 days a week, even clean the toilet, move the heavy box like I do. Not being a boss and sit around waiting for the money to come in and count. Because being a boss versus being an entrepreneur is not the same thing. So don't think that, okay, I started something, I can sit around and yes, I'm successful now. Then after 2-3 years, I mean, statistically speaking, 3 out of 4 business close down after 2-3 years because they think that you just need to put something on sale and wait for it to be sold and collect money. Study in it, have experience, have a heart, be willing to work, and that's how you will succeed. But use your mind. Don't just put it out there.
Don't start acting like the business is already giving you money when you've only just started. Yes, absolutely.
So I would say that getting rejected is a wonderful thing. There is nothing that drives you harder than when somebody tells you you can't do it for whatever reason. And I think it's Mr. Vincenzo Guzzo, who says, for all the people who closed the doors in my face when I started to do whichever initiative, well, watch out, I'm coming back to buy the building.
Moi, ça va. C'est un peu tout ce que vous avez dit. On parle beaucoup de passion puis d'instinct. C'est de suivre sa passion, c'est écouter son instinct. Moi, au début, j'avais pas de connaissances dans les fleurs, dans les plantes. Quand j'ai ouvert Kyoto Fleurs, j'avais jamais eu de business avant non plus. Si j'avais écouté les gens, j'aurais jamais ouvert mon commerce. Puis ça ferait pas 9 ans qu'on existerait. Alors, c'est vraiment juste de suivre son instinct, sa passion, d'aller jusqu'au bout. Puis c'est ça, mais prendre des décisions avec son cœur, je pense que c'est important. Oui, c'est une business, sauf que le cœur, c'est aussi important, puis c'est la base de mon entreprise, en tout cas, dans mon cas.
Okay, and he saved himself for last, so go ahead.
I want to make sure I don't repeat anything anybody says, so because there's a lot of great entrepreneurs here. My thing is, I can't do anything alone at the beginning. I think a lot of it relies on who I know and who I partner with, because a lot of people here work in either couples or teams. So the thing is, I can't do this alone. Like, look at me sitting up here. I have 2 trusted partners over there that took me a long time, a lot of mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, like she said. I think just work, this is the advice I would say, work on your networking. Create a good network and try not to say no. Try always to say yes to opportunities. Even if you feel tired, try to say yes to opportunities. I think teamwork and saying yes until you have the right to say no. Because right now, even 5 years into it, I don't have the right to say no. And if I say no, I start going down. So teamwork, networking, and always try to say yes when you can. So.
Amazing. I want to thank all of our panelists. They have some stalls out there, so everybody please go check them out. Melissa, Han Lee, Raj, Mahidu, Michelle, thank you guys so much. I know, I'm like 2 Melissas now. But thank you guys so much and really appreciate you, and everybody please check out their stalls and the rest of the stalls at the Marché Asiasie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon and Charles. We good?